Welcome to Unit 1. In this video we're going to do three things. We'll give you a brief overview of what we'll be covering in the course this term. I gave you somewhat of an outline of our approach in the welcome video, so I'll be summarising that. We'll talk about some of the databases that we'll be using during the course, and finally we'll talk about the company that we're using as our ongoing case study during the term. It's HiFi, who are an electronics retailer. First, what will we cover in this course? Business analysis and valuation focuses on the analysis of financial information found primarily, but not exclusively, in the financial reports of firms. The course takes a structured approach to our analytical tasks. We systematically go through four key analytical steps. The order of these is important. We begin with business analysis. In short, this step requires us to ask, how does the business make money, and what are the prospects for it making money in the future? This step covers both industry analysis and how a firm positions itself within the industry. This first step will give us a sense of what we expect to see when we look at the numbers. The financial statements, or a company's key ratios that we calculate from the financial statements, won't make sense without having the context of the conditions in which the business operates. We ask the following sorts of questions. Are sales seasonal or cyclical? What drives demand for the product or service? Is the business capital intensive or people intensive? Are the assets of the business long term, or do they get replaced regularly? Is the business attractive to lenders who would provide debt financing? All of these questions lead to our second analytical step, accounting analysis. Our key question here is examining the extent to which the financial statements do a good or a bad job of reflecting the underlying business economics. This is a function of how well the accounting rules allow a business to reflect its performance, and the extent to which the rules provide managers with discretion in their accounting decisions. We'll also look at the quality of a firm's non-financial disclosures. In recent years, there's been an increasing demand for firms to provide information about their ESG-related activities. Once we have an understanding of how the business makes its money and the extent to which that's reflected in the financial statements, we commence our financial analysis. This is our third analytical step and involves the systematic assessment of recent financial performance. Our final analytical task is prospective analysis. This involves taking everything we know about the business, its accounting, and its recent performance, and trying to predict the future, as reflected in the financial statements. We can then use those forecasts in a variety of contexts. A particularly important context is valuing the firm. Our primary approach in this course is equity valuation, but we also cover asset or enterprise valuation. We will then see how those four analytical steps can be applied in a variety of contexts, including investment management, credit analysis, and so on. The second thing that I wanted to mention was some of the main databases that we will use to obtain financial statement information. The first is the FactSet database. If you are enrolled in the course by the end of August, then you should hopefully have received an email from FactSet to your UNSW email address with your account details. Please see the team site on what to do if you have not received this email. We will be making use of FactSet throughout the term. It provides a lot of information about listed companies. The other database that we'll be focusing on is Morningstar's Data Analysis Database. You can access this through the UNSW Library webpage. It also contains financial statement and other information about listed companies. Data analysis focuses on Australian and New Zealand companies, while FactSet's global in focus. I've put up a guide on accessing financial statement data through data analysis on our Teams page. We'll have a brief look at both of these databases during week 1. Make sure you've been able to log on to both FactSet and data analysis beforehand. I'm also interested in hearing what other data sources you've found useful, and we'll keep a list of resources on our team site. Finally, we'll be looking at one company in detail throughout the term as we progress through our analytical steps. This term we're using HiFi. They're an electronic goods and equipment retailer. They have a large physical store presence and an increasing online sales channel. It's obviously an interesting time for retailers, so we'll be thinking carefully about industry conditions and the implications that they have on JB Hi-Fi's accounting and particularly our forecasts of future performance. If you're not familiar with JB Hi-Fi, visit a shopping mall, see if you can find a store. Have a look at what they sell and have a look at the way they sell it. Are things heavily marked down at the moment? Have a look at their website. One of the things that we'll be considering is the shift between sales from physical stores to online sales. We will keep track of JB Hi-Fi information in a dedicated section on our course teams page. As we progressively analyse JB Hi-Fi, you should be able to apply the same lens to the company that you're examining for your major project. JB Hi-Fi have just announced their 2022 full-year financial results, so we'll look carefully at what material they provide and how we can most effectively make use of what's there. Again, go to the Teams section for our JB Hi-Fi resources. You'll see in the course ebook and also on the Teams site that I've provided a starting list of resources that will hopefully be useful to you as we progress through the course. These include other databases, apps, good Twitter accounts and podcasts. I hope you can add to these to help us build up a really useful set of information sources by the end of the term. So, jump onto the Teams site, have a look at the discussion forums there, and let's get going on accessing our financial and non-financial data.